Hello everyone, I hope you're doing alright. Today we're talking about Rage for the Juggernaut. Brief disclaimer as usual, I'm not an expert on the spec, I'm just a guy that plays a lot of SWTOR and guy knows what he's doing. So if you have any recommendations, leave them down in the comments below. Help out fellow players, I'm sure they would appreciate it. For your tertiary stats for Rage, we're looking at 110% accuracy in PvE, and like 105% accuracy in PvP. We need that little extra 5% accuracy because we do a lot of white damage in Rage. For your alacrity, you want like 7.2% alacrity. That should compensate for your lag issues. Then just dump the rest into crit. You should be good to rock and roll. For our tactical, we're looking at Cauterized Coronary. Cauterized Coronary just applies a dot to the target. It's free damage. We love to see it. Doesn't change much about what we do. For our legendaries, we're going to take the Champion's Precision package. Champion's Precision is going to give us 20% crit chance for 8 seconds after we use our Enrage, which is going to be free crits very, very often, which we love to see. Then we're going to take our Fearless Victor package. It's going to give us 10% melee damage for 10 seconds. We do a lot of melee damage in this class, so it's very, very useful to us. For the combat style, this is what I personally run. We take Dark Synergy here. Dark Synergy is going to give us an extra 20% critical every time we use our Raging Burst, which combined with our Enrage is going to give us like 40% extra crit, which means we're going to do a lot of damage in a very brief window. For our next row, they all kind of suck, to be frank with you. I like Projected Scream just because I don't have to think about it. It's free extra damage, but you can take like Ravage Root if you're in PvP, or if you want the extra AoE, you can go Sweeping Slash, but it's kind of up to you. Moving up the tree here, I take Seed in the Defense here. To Seed in the Defense, give this little extra bit of Absorb. If you want to, you can take Rage Engine. It's not going to change your rotation at all. It's just going to make your rotation a little bit smoother. Sorry, my dog is demanding attention. Make your rotation a little bit smoother, a little bit more forgiving, but you don't need it. You can just take Seed in the Defense instead. Indignant Rumination is mandatory. It's going to give us a bunch of free rage back. And then also, and whenever we use our Enrage, every single ability that you use will not go on cooldown, which means that you can spam your hardest hitting abilities over and over and over again, which we will be doing. Moving with the tree here, I like Extended Roar. It gives you that little bit of extended range for a couple of abilities. We don't have a lot of range as Rage, but if you want to, you can also take Warmonger and like PvP, very useful ability. The other one kind of bad. Up the tree here, Hardened Defense is obviously useful for that AoE reduction in PvE. In PvP, you can take like Payback if you want to. The options here kind of stink. Uphill line, you kind of dealer's choice here. I like taking the Reflect personally, just in case I pull aggro on an ad and I can reflect it. A little bit of that little extra defensive cooldown. It's also nice in PvP. However, you can also take Intimidating Roar in PvP or Mad Dash if you want the mobility in PvE and PvP. It's really up to you. I won't be mad at you if you take any of these options. Finally, in PvP, I take Pooled Hatred, and then PvE, I take Through Passion. All these options kind of suck. So just pick which one you think is going to work better for you if you want the extra healing, or if you think you're going to get slowed at all, you can take Pooled Hatred. But that's what we have when it comes to our utility trees. All right, dude, go down. So that's the basics, the background. Let's talk about the spec itself. Rage is a builder-spender spec. What that means is that we're going to build little yellow bubbles beneath our character portrait here. These are our rage. We use our low damage ability to build rage, and then we spend that rage on high damaging abilities. Our goal is to float between having enough rage and generating those rage with those kind of crappy abilities, and then smashing all of our hard-hitting abilities into the target without ever running out of range. Out of rage. Wow, I can't talk today. We have a couple of ways to generate rage. The most obvious is going to be a Force Charge. Force Charge, very nice for us as a melee class. It gets us close up onto the target and generates 3 rage. Additionally, we have our Saber Throw. Saber Throw has a 30-meter range, so it's our little bit of range damage that we can do with Saber Throw. It's also going to generate 3 rage. We also have our Sundering Assault, which is going to generate like 7 rage, which is very, very nice. It's a lot of rage very quickly. Finally, our last primary generator is going to be Enrage. Enrage generates 6 rage immediately, and then we'll continue to generate rage over the course of the next 6 seconds. It's a very, very handy ability to us. We'll be talking about that in a little bit. We do have one final rage generator. That is our Assault. Assault has very little damage. It's a sad ability. If you hit Assault, I will judge you. Just know that. It's okay if you run out of rage and you have to hit it. Just know that I will be sad somewhere. I'll feel it in my bones. All right. So try not to hit Assault as much as possible. Rage's abilities all play into each other. There's a lot of interaction going on here, and we'll talk about this during our rotation, but here's the basics of what you need to know. We have two leaps as rage. The first being force charge, which generates rage, but we also have a secondary smaller leap called obliterate. Obliterate actually consumes rage, and every time we use one of these leaps, it's going to cause our smash and our raging burst to glow. That's because anytime we use these leaping abilities, it will auto crit our raging burst or our smash. So if you see here, if I use my leap, our raging burst will start to glow. That means it will be an auto crit every time. We like to see that. Auto crits are very, very nice for us. We love a good auto crit. Additionally, our force crush will make our raging burst or our smash consume no rage. So that means as we're going through here, if we use our force crush, we will have a little brief window where we can use our our raging burst with consuming no rage and with an auto crit. So if I go like leap in and then force crush, we get a free no rage auto crit raging burst. It's a lot of damage very quickly. Additionally, when we use raging burst, we have a 20% extra crit chance. Additionally, when we use raging burst, we have like an extra 5% damage, which is very, very nice. Which means that the abilities that come after raging burst are going to hit like a truck. We love to see that. Additionally, our Furious Strike will enable the use of our Retaliation. Retaliation usually only used when we get attacked, but because we use Furious Strike, we can now hit the glowing Retaliation button. It's very, very nice. Additionally, when you leap to any target using the regular leap ability, you're going to see that Force Scream will actually do more damage and generate rage. There's a lot going on here. A lot of the buffs, I'll be honest with you, don't matter. You don't have to think about them too much because the rotation we're going to learn is going to take advantage of all these buffs. Just know that in general, when you leap to a target, you get free glowing smashes and glowing rages. They're going to be auto crits. And anytime you crush, it will consume no rage. That's the basics of what you need to understand for the fundamentals of of how these abilities interact with each other. There's a lot of little buffs going on here, but we're not going to worry about all those little buffs. One final interaction here before we start building our rotation. We mentioned previously that because of our I'm going to butcher the name of this, Indignant Rumination, anytime you use a rage spending attack during Enrage, the ability won't go on cooldown. Which means you can do things like this. If I have all the rage in the world, you can just spam, like, say, a Furious Strike over and over and over again without it going on cooldown. That's an important interaction. All right. I've explained a lot of things that are happening here. Leaps create crits, crush creates free, uses a burst and smash. Enrage means that abilities don't go on cooldown. So let's break down all of these abilities into one, bless you Duke, one smooth rotation here. The rotation is broken down into 3 parts. The first part is the major bonk. The second part is the minor bonk. And the third part is hit the glowing buttons. If we can nail those 3 parts of the rotation, we should be good to go. The first part of this rotation is the most fun. What we're going to do, we're going to, when we're starting off combat, leap to the target, and then Force Crush, Raging Burst, Enrage, and then Furious Strike 3 times in a row. So what we're doing is we're getting the free crit because we have our leap up. We are making our Raging Burst use no rage because we're using Force Crush. We're hitting... Duke's found a toy. We're hitting Raging Burst to give us the extra bit of damage after Raging Burst and the extra critical chance. We're hitting Enrage, which gives us an extra critical chance and gives us a whole bunch of rage and makes none of our abilities come off cooldown so we can spam 3 strikes in a row. So here's how that's going to look. So you're going to leap in, crush, burst, enrage, and then slice or strike. That's about 250,000 damage over the course of that one little bit of the rotation. So let's walk through that one more time so that we make sure we know what we're doing here. So, leap, crush, raging burst, and then enrage. Oh, should I mess it up? Strike, and then strike. Even Duke's excited about that level of damage. Let's walk through it one more time to make sure that we all know what we're doing here, and then I'll take the toy away from Duke. So we're going to leap in, we're going to crush, we're going to burst, and then we're going to enrage, and then strike. Strike, strike. And there's a boatload of damage onto the target. That is our major bonk. Okay, our minor bonk is similar to our major bonk, except, minor and sad. So, how the minor bonk is going to look is that after we go through and we leap and we crush and raging burst and enrage and then slice, strike, strike, we're going to come back through and we're going to obliterate, sundering assault, burst, and then strike. So kind of similar to what we did before, just a little sadder. So obliterate, sundering assault, burst, and strike. By following this little bit of the rotation, we're going to have just that little bit of extra damage because of our extra leap into crits, into raging bursts, into strikes, etc. And additionally, because we only strike 3 times, we'll still be under enrage, which means that our obliterate actually won't go back on cooldown, which is very, very important to us. So here's how those abilities all work back to back. So major first, then minor. So the major bonk is leap in, crush, burst, enrage, strike, strike, strike. Minor, obliterate, sundering assault, raging burst, strike. That's the first 2 parts of the rotation. The minor burst is designed to give us that little bit of extra rage we have throughout the rest of the rotation and take advantage of those auto crits and furious strikes. So let's walk through that one more time. Major bonk, then minor bonk, and we'll talk about the glowing buttons. So leap in, force crush, raging burst, enrage, strike, 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 obliterate, minor bonk, sundering assault, burst, furious strike. Now you're going to notice here that our retaliation and our force scream are both glowing. That's because if you remember, we used our furious strike, which means that our retaliation is glowing. We also used a leap, which means that our force scream is glowing. So now is the part of the rotation where we go back through and we take advantage of those glowing buttons. So what we're going to do for the final part of the rotation is going to be one more obliterate, then force stream, then retaliation. And what this is going to do is going to give us a little bit of extra damage, which can be very, very helpful. And it's also going to preserve some of the extra rage that we need to fill out the rotation. One final interaction to note here is that when the target reaches sub 30% health, Vicious Throw will become available. What we do at this point is that we just replace retaliation with Vicious Throw. So here's how it's going to look all wrapped up into one final 1 million parse dummy for one last review of the entire rotation of major bonk, minor bonk, hit the glowing buttons. So, jump in, begin, crush, burst, enrage, strike, 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 jump in again, jump, sunder, burst, strike, hit the glowing buttons, jump, scream, retaliate, Duke's having the time of his life, begin again, crush, burst, enrage, strike, 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 minor bonk, jump, sunder, burst, strike, jump, hit the glowing buttons, this time using Vicious Throw because the target's under 30% health, and that's all there is to know. It's easy peasy. It's crazy simple how much damage this class can do. Let's quickly demonstrate the amount of crazy, well, obviously it's a 29k parse, which is kind of ridiculous, but Furious Strike does 41% of your damage. That's a lot of damage. It also hits for like 55k 3 times in a row. That's a lot of damage. This is the Supreme Burst Damage spec. Pretty fantastic. Love to see it. Let's briefly talk about our defensive cooldowns here. We have Saber Ward, which gives you a 50% raised defense chance, which is, it's okay, not great, not terrible. It is what it is. Additionally, we have our Endure Pain. Endure Pain will give us 30% extra health for 10 seconds, but be warned, once that 10 seconds is gone, so is the health that you gain. So if you're at like 20% health and those 10 seconds wear off, you will drop to 1 hit point. So have fun with that. Finally, we have our Enraged Defense. Enraged Defense is essentially a heal to full. Every time you are attacked when Enraged Defense is up, you will heal up to full, basically. Heals you for 25k a tick, and you have 12 ticks. So it's a lot of healing. It's our heal to full that we get every 2 minutes, or if you're taking utility, you get it every 1 minute and 30. In PvP, hit your taunt buttons as often as possible. It helps out your friends. In PvE, please don't hit your taunt button unless your tank asks you to, otherwise you will be kicked from the team. Let's talk briefly about AoE in this class. So we talked before about how Enrage prevents any abilities from coming on cooldown every time that we go and hit them. So what we can do here is we can combine that with just back-to-back-to-back smashes. So if you are at like level 40, anytime when you are after having Indemnus Ruination? Indignant Ruination. We got there eventually. What you can do for AoE, or if you're just leveling and you're lazy, is you can jump in, hit Enrage, and then just smash. So for example, you can jump in, hit Enrage, and then smash, which is going to do a boatload of damage to all the standard targets. So if you need to, if you have a bunch of standard targets that you want to kill very quickly, you can just jump in, Enrage, and then smash pretty much everything to death. It's kind of ridiculous. It's fine. Well, here's a group of mobs. Here we go. Enrage, smash. They're all dead. Hallelujah. And now we can go back and just do the normal rotation as we do. This has been the Rage Guide. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you have any questions. That's all I got. Smooth transition to the finish. Subscribe, I guess. Or like the video. Or share with your friends. Or just play Rage like a real gamer. That's all I got. Okay. Goodbye.